band every day or the solo artist, and you hear everything they want to do, and then you hear the record company say what they need. So you got to be a psychiatrist to be a producer.
Yeah, in general, just by virtue of entering into a recording agreement, there's somewhat of an obligation to deliver a product that has the commercial expectations of the label. They're not investing money into product that, or they're investing money into product that they can sell or think they can sell. And sometimes, unfortunately, that sends a wrong message. But again, just by virtue of entering into a recording agreement, these guys want product with commercial potential. So coming back to what we said about artist development, there is no artist development anymore at labels. So in my opinion, the more artist development that you can do as an unsigned artist or a do-it-yourself artist is only going to lead to a better deal down the line, number one, and two, somewhat secures the potential that the resulting product is going to be closer to what you envisioned than if you just kind of went in at the wrong time and then it becomes something that you don't want and you're not proud of.
I totally agree. Any other comments down there? John, I just wanted to, since you just touched on that, that's one thing I was going to bring up to the panel, and everyone, this side can comment on it too. Obviously, John's a producer nowadays, but I put him on this side because he had 18 years with Virgin as an A&R person. But John, I want to just kind of ask you, you were just talking about cutting and splicing and Pro Tools, and with a lot of our students, I've noticed that instead of wanting to really explore, shedding, like Bobby said he did 15 hours a day on their instrument, they want to learn it good enough to record it into Pro Tools, cut it up, splice it, make it sound good. Is this a viable option for the future? Is this something, or should they actually learn their instrument? Should they concentrate on live performance?
I think learning an instrument is like vocabulary, really. The more chords and the greater ability to have to perform, the greater the content will be. I like Pro Tools. I think it's a very valuable tool, but I think what has happened with Pro Tools and that kind of mentality behind production, it has stopped producers making choices in the studio regarding performances. If you can, record X number of files of guitar solos and chop it up and make one later, why decide now in the studio? So I feel a lot of people have become lazy, and now mixers get, files and files and files of stuff to go through, as opposed to, here's your multi-track, please mix the record. So for me, to me, I'd rather make a choice and work on the performance rather than just lift sections out and fly them in later. But again, that's my preference. As I say, there's some great records made fully on Pro Tools, and there's no right or wrong. It's just personal preference, and also it's relevant to the style of music you're working with as well. There's a lot of artists that I work with who actually don't want to work on Pro Tools. They want to work on the performance, and they want to record that way. So,
can I say something? This is a sore subject for me. I believe that a good record is a good performance. I don't like to chop up stuff and to edit it all together, because where's the art? There's no art. And I mean, there is a place for Pro Tools, and I believe it's in post mostly, which is after the recording. I mean, there's specific times when you can use it, but to me, a record is all about the vibe, it's all about the art, it's all about the person playing or singing. And if I'm going to buy a record, I want to know that that's them doing it, not just a machine that's put it all together. So, I don't know, that's the way I feel.
Sure. Any other comments on where should the student put their resources? Should they be in the practice room for 15 hours? Should they be learning Pro Tools? Should they be reading the books like Bobby's? I mean, what should they be doing? We only have limited amount of time today.
Let me just say this. I agree with what Dino said, and John as well. It is my very firm belief that the most important thing that music can possess is emotional content.
Absolutely.
Because a song is a form of emotional communication. And I think anyone who truly loves and appreciates music understands that. What you do when you have Pro Tools and you go in and you correct all of the human flaws, you are distilling out all of the emotion.
That's what makes the record.
And you can manufacture a record. A lot of people do manufacture records, and some people have the skill to do it. And it's much more difficult than capturing a performance, capturing a moment in time. And the last thing that I ever want to do on my Pro Tools system is take away some inflection in a voice or some micro timing that a drummer's performing, because to me, that's the content of the music right there. It's not a metronome. It's not a a tone generator. It's a human quality, and that's the most important thing that I think needs to be captured and retained in the music.
I think it's also funny that when you look at the sales of the some of the classic albums of the 60s and 70s, they actually still outsell now a lot of new contemporary albums. Why is that? Because basically the performance and the emotion that came across at that time still affects people. It still reaches people. So, you know, my kids get into Led Zeppelin as I did, you know, several years ago. So there must be something there. So again, when you manufacture something, you definitely take the soul out of it. So the theory really is it's more about the song and the performance. And I think the record labels have put songs and art as secondary to marketing and imagery and various other things in the years, which is probably why a lot of labels are not succeeding, because frankly the quality of music that is coming out, in my opinion, is not very great. And that is responsible of the labels and producers and artists. You know, it's not learning their craft, and all it does is dilute the quality of the product. So if there was a little bit more selective process and a little bit more development, where bands used to always go out and play live, they would tour, they would do all this before they'd even make a record, you know, records would probably improve greatly, I think.
I'd like to add to that. I really believe that our job as producers is to capture a performance rather than manufacture a performance. And I think that a tune is almost like a living creature. It has a breathing pattern. There is an ebb and flow to the emotional nature, give and take, if you will. And to quantize that in any way, you basically remove the soul. And producers are known to do that naturally. But now